the first half, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. McGrath for the win. He got it. If you don't like college football and you watch this one, I'm not sure what your problem is.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Sunday, July 21st. Let me fix this because it is episode 579 as we truck along here, get closer to football season. Unless you're playing NCAA or EA college football 20, whatever you want to call it. Unless you're doing that, then you're probably in the middle of, you probably finished some seasons, finished at least some seasons. It's football time. I mean, that's the only way to put it. It's football time.
Yeah, like are we there yet? Like it keeps getting closer and closer, and baseball did do a good job of getting us almost to it, but it's going to be a rough like month and a couple days until we're actually there.
Yeah, and I'm more. I hate the way we're at the point where I really hate the waiting. There's so much. We're going to talk about the preseason rankings. You've seen the preseason all SEC selections. We are obviously talking about expectations for season, expectations for games, for individual positions, and I'm over the waiting. Shout out to Vitello for getting us halfway through June without having to think about football, but now I'm here and it's July and I'm over it. Now I want to do. I guess when I'm playing a video game, I'm thinking about it less, so that's good. Glad we got that back. But I'm also really angry at the Tennessee on that game currently, so that doesn't help me at all.
Yeah, it was a nice bridge. Like baseball was, but also like getting college football right after that too helps for sure. But it's almost like a tease.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like in the moment you think it's real, but after you get done playing the game, you're like, man, I would love to be like actually in Neyland Stadium.
Yeah, and not checkerboarding it like they have every single game on my road to glory that they've done. It's getting old.
I'm trying to do the Tennessee offense where I speed up every play. That's exhausting. Just for me sitting in the chair. Yeah, I couldn't imagine actually doing it.
I love it. I'm hurry up all the time, baby.
Really?
Not the turbo.
Okay.
The hurry up, though.
Okay. I'm just like.
I'm calling plays at the line.
Yeah.
Which now you can change formation in the hurry up, which is nice.
Yeah, that is a lot better.
I think you could do that on Madden in the last few years, but not the old NCAA.
Yeah, it was just like a couple plays.
Yeah, just whatever you had in that formation you were stuck with. Now you can use any variation of the formation with the players that are currently on the field, which is nice.
Yeah.
There may be more than that. They may plug certain guys in, but I think it's just with the ones on the field. I don't know. But no, I love it. It's a ton of fun. I'm gonna get off here and play it for 2 hours or so tonight before I go to bed. I'm addicted. Hand up. I'm addicted.
Just like winning national championships, addicted to.
Yeah.
We're full addicted to basically everything we do now after we won that national championship.
Yeah, and I want to feel that feeling so bad again. I just try to do it in video games. It's not the same. I won one today, and it's not the same. And then got moved down to running back too. So,
did you after you won a national championship?
Yeah, I every season I've played, I'm going to hit the transfer portal, but I stay at Tennessee. They demote me.
You don't
Deshaun Bishop, I'm coming for your job.
You don't test the market a little bit?
I did, and you want to know what's really even dumber about this game is if I transferred to Tennessee from Tennessee, I would have. It said I would have been the starter. I just backed out. I was like, all right, cool. I'll just advance, and I was running back 2.
I love that.
Yeah, glad you do. No, we don't. I graduated, so I don't have to worry about my academics anymore. That's good news.
Oh yeah.
Don't have to study for those exams.
I
hate Road to Glory.
So
I hate it. I hate it. It's so hard. It's so dumb. I'm over it. I'm going to finish my career, and I'm never going to play it again. Ever. Started Online Dynasty today. I got blown out by Michigan. I hate the game right now, honestly. For just being honest, I hate the game. I was Fresno State for all you guys that are like, you're terrible at the game. I am terrible at the game, but I was Fresno State.
Yeah, I'm San Diego State in my dynasty, and I suck. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I was like, man, I kind of like the uniforms. I feel like they have good like uniform combinations. They just have a home and away.
Tulane, you gotta go Tulane for good uniforms.
Yeah,
I'm gonna work on Team Builder this week, so I'll have the Vestal Vandals rolling here soon.
So how does that work? Can you start a dynasty with them?
No clue, man. I'll have to figure that out for you.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a question left better to those on the internet that know
I know you can
better
do
than
like
I do.
online dynasties with them, but I didn't know if you could just do like a regular dynasty with a made up team.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. No clue. Yep. But you can create logos and stuff online, so I'm gonna do that and then get it rolling.
Yeah.
That'll be my supplemental to my online dynasty. I feel like I have so much of the game left to play. I haven't done the road to the college football playoff yet. I'm not gonna do Ultimate Team. Ultimate Team's dumb. But
I started it and I'm like, this is gonna be a rabbit hole if I don't back out now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they added that to the game because it's how they make money past the actual initial sale of the game. And they're not going to get me there. They got me on the pre-sale. That's all they're going to get from me.
Yeah, I was thinking about this is kind of a new look for us the past couple times we've done a show. Jeff Harrison says y'all look good at Fan Run. Appreciate that. It was fun last week. We started that on Monday of last week and went Thursday as well. Going forward, we'll be back. I guess we'll be in studio on Thursdays, but we'll be live here on Sundays, and then that will be recorded on the radio on Monday nights. So, thank y'all for listening along. We appreciate it, and it's some exciting stuff, and we're looking forward to the future of that for sure.
Yeah, like Landon said, we'll be back live. If you're listening to this, I mean, if you want to tune into the radio or the app on Monday, by all means. But it will be the show going forward with maybe some exceptions, but for the most part, this show. But Thursday will be our live show there in studio at Fan Run Radio. So thank you, Jeff. We appreciate it. Appreciate everybody that listened. Let's get into this episode. Before we do that, though, I'm going to tell you guys about some of our good friends over at Grade A Grounds. Grade A Grounds, some of my favorite coffee. It's going to be some of your favorite coffee. Head over to gradeagrounds.com to check them out. They're a local coffee roasting company in Kingsport, Tennessee, owned and operated by 2 educators. Being educators, they obviously care about their coffee. They also care about their community. They do that by giving back 5% of all of their sales to a nonprofit organization that supports students all over the Tri-Cities called Coalition for Kids. That money goes directly towards keeping a classroom at Coalition for Kids stocked with the necessary supplies needed for students. Guys, they also have this really cool thing running. They're going to release the Vol-Sickle here soon. As we get closer to football season, that means we get closer to the Vol-Sickle release. It's a great seasonal flavor done by Grade A Grounds Coffee to get everybody in the mood for football season. Right now, your child, your friend's children, the children in your class, the children in your Sunday school class, they can participate. They can get their designs put on display on the Vol-Sickle sold by Grade A Grounds. Go enter that contest right now. Go to gradeagrounds.com or any of their socials for infos about that competition. Also, check out their gold medal blend. It's their special blend for our golf tournament happening September 28th to support the Special Olympics of Greater Knoxville. We're really excited for that golf tournament. Really excited about the gold medal blend. It's a great blend. Use promo code GOVOLS at checkout. Capital G, capital V, GOVOLS. Make sure you check out all the great coffee and then those to come, like the Vol-Sickle. Shout out to Grade A Grounds. Appreciate them. Go sign up for the golf tournament as well while you're doing that. Spots closing in. Have people signing up? I don't know how many we have left. We needed to check that. We've got at least a few. We got at least a few where you go sign up right now, you're good.
Yeah,
for sure.
Go ahead and do that. If it does fill up tonight, we'll make sure to make room for you. How about that?
We'll just do another. We'll do afternoon tea time.
Yeah, there you
make
go.
us have to do an afternoon tea time.
Yeah, we'll double up. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some SEC little preseason rankings going on. We know how preseason rankings work. They don't mean a damn thing, but that's all we got to go off of right now. So we're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about what we think, what we know, and
just nothing.
Probably how stupid it all is in the end. I guess we'll start with stupid. Vanderbilt getting 2 freaking. Well, not just that. They get 2 points to be the SEC champion. 2 votes. That's unreal. South Carolina got 1. That's probably just as dumb as the Vanderbilt pick.
I don't think you should be allowed to do this. I don't think you should be allowed to pick Vanderbilt to be funny. But at least if you pick Vanderbilt, it was clearly to be funny. I think there is a mentally unstable person out there running around that picks South Carolina to win because they believe that.
Yeah.
Because I guess that's a funny pick, but it's not as funny and absurd as Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. It's a silly poll. Just don't vote in it. I don't know why we do it either. I'm with you guys, but it's hilarious that they had two picks to finish first and still finish 16th.
Yeah.
They had more picks than Tennessee. They had more picks than everyone above them, I think, except South Carolina. And everyone
they had more than South Carolina.
Right. I'm saying, but everyone through 5, I believe. 4, maybe? No. Everyone through number 6 got
Georgia,
0.
Texas, Alabama, and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Were the only people that had more votes than Vanderbilt.
Right. I'm saying everyone, though, through number 6 got 0, except for South Carolina. And Vanderbilt got 2. So after LSU, no one got picks. Except for South Carolina got 1, Vanderbilt got 2. It's not funny. It's not original. It happens every year. Expose them. Who did it?
Yep.
Tell me how funny you really are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are getting exposed. I mean, Sketch, for instance. Yeah, sorry. But I mean, let's figure out who these people are. You want to do an investigative stuff online and get people in trouble. Let's put it to good use this time. Let's do it for these Vanderbilt voters. Also, throw in the South Carolina while you're at it. While you're doing the work, go ahead and throw them in there as well.
I think the South Carolina one, like I said, is much more concerning than the Vanderbilt one.
I agree with that. Yeah. I mean, there's no way you actually like. Do you think since there was more than one with Vanderbilt, do you think the other person was just like, I believe in Clark Lee?
I don't think there's any possible way anybody on this planet believes Vanderbilt can win the SEC. So I'm going to go with no. I think there's probably a Carolina beat writer somewhere in Columbia that has that little belief. Shane Beamer's fully culted them out. He has them bought in. They have to listen to him all the time, and they've drank the Kool-Aid juice at this point.
What do you think is more believable, Georgia finishing last, because I'm sure like Kirby Smart has them convinced that they're going to be picked last, or Vanderbilt to win the SEC?
I think Georgia finishing last because, I mean, there's always a chance that a bunch of their players could get fined by the NIL and leave than Vanderbilt winning football games.
Gotcha, yeah. The whole team was having like a NASCAR race on campus or something. The Georgia football Grand Prix.
It was just a meetup, Just it was a red line. Is that where all the cars meet up and show off? Yeah, It was one of those.
Okay,
nothing major.
Yeah.
I think Georgia's football program imploding and losing every game is much more likely than Vanderbilt winning the SEC. Winning more than I haven't even looked at their schedule, but I'm going to say winning more than 2 SEC games. I don't think they'll win 1, but we'll spot them 2. What is their over-under at on the year, Joey? Could you look that up for me?
It's got to be like.
Why would we not take that every year? Why do we not take that under every year?
Well, I think last year they played Hawaii and like beat their brains in, and then they sucked.
Right.
So there's always like there's always 2 games on there that you're like, I mean, like they should win. They do have some SEC type players,
But if their win totals set at 4 or 5, you take it. You take the under.
Yeah, and if they beat that, like you take
Tip your hat. Tip your hat.
Yeah.
Clark Lee got the job done. Extension. Sign it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It feels like everything's right in the world. I hate that Missouri's above us, but they had a better year than Tennessee last year, which is very unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to do? I really hope that nothing like that comes about, that Missouri game.
Ever again, yeah.
Yeah, ever again, but especially against Missouri, especially against Eli Drinkowitz.
I mean, the same thing can be said about the South Carolina game 2 years ago, too. So.
Sure. Yeah,
that should never happen.
Right.
Tennessee is picked to finish 7th, which seems rough. But, like, when you look at it, I don't necessarily, like – do I disagree as a Tennessee fan? Yes. But I don't, like –
I can't complain about it.
Yeah, I could see it. Like, I think all those teams from probably let's go Ole Miss down to A&M is probably around the same. So it kind of just depends week to week on how that's going to finish.
Yeah, I think this is another year where you look at the SEC and you go, kind of top heavy. And then after that, it's probably going to be a rock fight until number, 11.
Yeah.
And that can really kind of shake things up and how it works out. I don't even know. I mean, I really struggle with where, so Texas was finished picked second, had quite a few championship votes. I really don't know if I fully believe in them to be there.
Yeah.
Alabama, I have a lot of question marks, but it's really no. You said it best, where it really starts at number 4, where my real questions kind of come into play.
Mm-hmm.
But really, from 2 on, I start to have questions.
Yeah, like the 3 above, like, have been to the college football playoffs,
right?
Sure, at least 2 years. So I mean, the rest of them are still trying to get there. I gotta see it to believe it, I guess.
It is a 12 team, baby. It is a 12 team, which I'd have a. Do you get into the playoff if you're the number 7 SEC team?
Maybe.
I mean,
in baseball, you would if there's 12 teams.
Sure. Yeah, that's hard to believe. Golly, people are gonna be pissed, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think you're gonna have a lot of people pissed off, like 13th and 14th, because there's not going to be much separation. It's going to be the same thing like the college football playoff is now.
Sure.
Like, there's going to be people very upset, and I think a lot of it will probably be those SEC teams on the outside looking in because of how deep the conference is.
Sure.
And then you got Vanderbilt, who's supposed to just exceed every expectation. Well, I guess not. I guess there is some expectation on.
Yeah, I don't think Clark Lee can stand on that podium in Atlanta and say everyone doubted us because there were 2 people that believed.
Yeah,
so
sure.
that will be a hard thing. I mean, rat poison, is that rat poison?
I guess, or are they trying to just like already? Are they warming the seat up for Clark Lee? He loses that first game. They're like, I mean.
He's never going to win a championship.
This team should have won a championship, and they didn't. Got to move on.
That's I think there's a lot of angles you can look at that at and do that. I think though what Tristan's saying there, the NC State will set the tone for the season. See, that's where scheduling helps you. Tennessee finishes 7th in the SEC, has a win over NC State. Yeah, again, a lot of things have to go right in the season. Where those wins come, where those losses come. You're talking about a team in NC State that could finish high up in the ACC. Yeah, Tennessee's probably in the top 12. They finished 7th in that scenario.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. You beat NC State, you beat Oklahoma. What would that make you 4-0 going into? I wish I'd memorized the schedule, but I did not.
Go to bye week and then Florida, right?
Okay, yeah. So I mean, you could be 5-0 before Alabama.
Yeah. I mean, you
could. I said could. I'm not.
You miss Arkansas somewhere in there? Is Arkansas before at
Oh
Florida?
yeah, Arkansas is
before Florida.
Yeah. So
is it Oklahoma, Arkansas?
They could be 6-0.
Yeah.
Because there's Kent State after NC State, so
yeah,
6-0 headed into Alabama. I mean, yeah, NC State, that is that tone setter for the season, and then you got that Oklahoma game on there. That's really it's weird. It's going to seem like even though it is a conference game, it kind of seems like it's an out of conference game right now.
Sure.
And it's going to be like the stories of Josh Heupel going back, and is the pressure going to get to him? Nico's first road start, how does that look? So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot to that Oklahoma game where you go ahead and win NC State. I don't think that Oklahoma game is that big of a must win. I think if you lose NC State, I think like Oklahoma becomes a lot bigger on your schedule because of it.
Sure, it gets a lot bigger. I think Oklahoma's pretty important because I think that's a game that looks very winnable right now. I expect you to be underdogs no matter kind of how the season's shaped out to those points. I expect Tennessee to be underdogs, but it feels very winnable. And I think right now, going back to Missouri and South Carolina, how Josh Heupel and his teams can play on the road, not that they haven't won road games, but how they can play on the road right now is still a very big question mark for me.
Yeah,
I think that's something they've failed to be consistent at, something they've failed to do well. So I think this Oklahoma game is pretty important for the scope of this season. I think kind of regardless of how NC State shakes out, it's a big opportunity to go win a tough road game, and if you do that, I think that is massive for the season for a lot of reasons. Number one, for the reasons we just mentioned of being being in a position to be undefeated going into Florida, Alabama, but also that sets the tone for how are you going to play on the road. Really, not just for the rest of the season. I think it's going to tell me a lot about Josh Heupel's career on the road.
Yeah,
we got to figure it out. We got to figure it out.
I also think with that Oklahoma game, with Nico's being his first true road game, for a ranked opponent in the SEC, I don't know if there is a better place I would rather him start on the road
than Oklahoma.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Vanderbilt, but I'm talking like, I guess
tougher.
Ranked. Yeah.
Tough. Okay. I thought you said ranked. I was okay.
I did say ranked. So
fair.
I don't think Florida's going to be ranked, but like I would much rather him start at Oklahoma first than Florida.
Sure. Oh yeah, especially with the history we have in the swamp. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Alabama, Georgia. I'm trying to think of. I mean, Kentucky would probably be ranked. I'd probably rather him do that first start. And
I don't care. Go to Lexington and start. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, LSU, A&M. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't disagree. Oklahoma's gonna be a tough environment, but it's gonna be a winnable environment. I think. Yeah, I want to know what it is too about Josh Heupel that they can't seem to get it done on the road, and hopefully they've addressed those issues and those things can get fixed, and this team can do it. I do think with every passing year, you hope you get more veteran leadership, and hopefully that's enough to do it. Because I mean, at the same time, you're playing on the same size field, you're playing the same game. Yeah. Don't know what it is. Go get it done.
Yeah, I will say this. The quarterback that played in both of those games is no longer the quarterback at Tennessee.
Both of
the Missouri and South Carolina games, the ones we're talking about on losing on the road.
They were
he lost it, huh?
They were technically different quarterbacks.
Well, Joe did play.
In that South Carolina. Very late. I'm very out of hand. Very out of hand. Don't start this. Don't start the. That's.
I mean, I love Joe,
but Joe had nothing to do with South Carolina game, no matter what you argue about.
Agreed. But I don't necessarily want to just say like Josh Heupel's teams are bad on the road.
They weren't good with Hendon Hooker on the road.
Yeah, but I mean, they did beat Pitt on the road.
Sure,
that's a good win.
Okay.
They beat Kentucky on the road.
Tennessee beats Kentucky on the road.
I'm just saying, like, it can't be like just
what other wins are there though on the road? What other big wins are there?
I mean that's it. It's Pitt and Kentucky, but like your losses have been to a Georgia team that was the best in the country that year. Missouri was a really good team last year. You got dog stomp, and that shouldn't happen. But that was. They
did beat LSU on the road. I'll give them that. They did beat LSU on the road.
They did. That was a good.
And I think that environment had way more to do with the way the game started than a noon kickoff. I'm not saying it's not tougher at night. Mm-hmm. That environment's different if it doesn't start the way it started for Tennessee.
Yeah, for sure. South Carolina, that one is just gonna be ingrained in my head forever.
And it's fair to me, but 90% of that game, by the time Hendon Hooker went down, it was over.
Well, yeah, and it didn't really have much to do with the offense. I mean, you had like 600 yards of total offense.
Scored 35 points.
Yeah. Those are games you should win, but did not. We'll get off that. I'm tired of thinking about it. Hopefully that Oklahoma game, you start a new leaf. You win that game, I think all is well. And what could be like your thoughts if you lose that game is like, oh, Josh Heupel's team are just bad on the road for some reason.
Sure. Do we know what time that game is yet? It does seem to be that the road night games aren't the most friendly to us.
It's that flex. It's afternoon or night.
Good afternoon. Pitt was like a 3 o'clock start, 4 o'clock start. LSU was a noon start. They did beat Kentucky in the evening last year.
Yeah. I do think like that with the storylines, I think if you're going prime time, I think that's the afternoon slate, right? Or is prime time?
I don't know what prime time is. They say prime time for all this time slots now.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, a big noon kickoff. When has noon ever been prime time?
Yeah.
That's our big game, noon.
I guess it's like whatever the game of the week. I got to assume like Tennessee and Oklahoma. I don't know who else is playing that week, but I got to assume that's up there.
With this SEC schedule now, who knows?
Yeah.
Who honestly knows? Yeah, no, I mean, Josh Heupel's got a lot to prove this year. Has some tough road tests, but Oklahoma, very winnable road test. And yeah, I think Tennessee is probably slated to finish right there again in the SEC unless they kind of got to shock the world in some areas. I mean, yeah, sure. If they finish 10-2 with losses to Georgia and Alabama, they look a lot better in the end. It'd also be nice to this be one of the years where you don't drop a game you're not supposed to, but maybe go win one you're not supposed to. That would be really nice. Then you're probably finishing at that 10-2 mark or 11-1. Or you know what, just go 12-0 and be the leaders in the clubhouse going into college football playoff. That'd be cool too.
I like that. All the other teams are playing in the playoff. You get a bye week.
Yeah.
Be one of the first teams ever to have a bye week.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
We were number one in the college football playoff for a week, one time.
Making history.
Before the South Carolina game.
Ugh.
That was actually for the Georgia game, but it was also before the South Carolina game.
There was 7 schools who got votes to win the SEC. Tennessee has to play 3 of those.
There you go. That's the storyline. that is the good lead right there. I like that. Let's jump into our position preview for today. We continue with another fan favorite, another pretty strong group going into that like kind of leadership aspect group. It's the offensive line. I like it. I mean, leading off with the big hitter, you've got really talk of the town, which doesn't happen often at this position. It's Cooper Mays.
Yeah, first team All SEC preseason selection. And I just think if you're going to pick somebody that's just like not as important as your quarterback, but the next most important, I think it is Cooper Mays of this offense. You saw that earlier last year when he was out, like how different the offense was.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's a big season for the offensive line. Number one, to I think just get to that college football playoff. Like, I think they are the ones to lead the way. You have a bunch of veterans in this group. You have some talent. What kind of makes this offense run like you did in 2022? You had a top 10 pick in Darnell Wright, kind of neutralizing every team's best edge rusher.
Right.
And every team has a pretty good one in the SEC. So you need good tackles to be able to keep them off your quarterback. And I think you need a center who can navigate the offense like Cooper Mays done for the last couple of years. And you need some, I think, solid guards. I don't think you need all-world guards. But Tennessee's got a good one in Javonte Spraggins. We'll see who wins the other guard role. Could it be Vyson Lang, Sham Umarov, Andre Kuric? There's some, I think, Jesse Perry, Aiden Bustle. There's some guys kind of, it's going to be a full battle for fall camp. I don't know if I love not having like a one or two guys really set the tone in spring practice or summer, but it's not really surprising that nothing comes out about that. I mean, if Josh Hype wasn't going to say that, so I don't know where you're going to get that information from.
Yeah.
But
not from the 2 minutes open to the media for sure.
Yeah. There's some competition there, which I think is good. I think they like the freshmen that they got, and Jesse Perry, Gage Ginther, Bennett Warren, William Satterwhite. They got some quality tackles and guards in that role, and then getting Lance Hurt out of the transfer portal was massive. You get John Campbell to stay another year, and then you get Lance Hurd to come back, which is one of the top tackles in the transfer portal, was massive for this offensive line.
Absolutely. And I think, you talked about if you're going to kind of finding someone at guards a little bit easier than finding someone at tackle. So getting Lance Hurd and then keeping John Campbell is a lot bigger in my mind than if I had to choose. I don't want to have to pick there. Like I'd ideally just want a good starting five, but if I had to pick somewhere to kind of be missing it, especially with a guy like Cooper Mays next year, I'm going to pick the guard position. And so I like that this offensive line is kind of shored up on the edges. That's where I would prefer it to be, especially in this offense. So yeah, I feel, not that I don't still have questions about this offensive line, and Jeff Harris just mentioned who's the backup center. I mean, kind of wondering who the backups are everywhere. You're not going to see a ton of rotation in this group and try to keep away from injury. But as far as the top 4 or 5 guys go, I feel good about this offensive line.
Yeah, I think you have 5 like solid guys in there. Like you have your 2 tackles in John Campbell and Lance Hurd. You have Javonte Spraggins, you have Cooper Mays, and I feel like you have Dane Davis,
right,
who has played all along this offensive line. This staff obviously has trust in. Does he start? I don't know, because I feel like
I think they're going to try to keep him on the outside in rotation.
Yeah,
that's probably the move.
Yeah, he could also play center if you needed him to. The backup center is a good question, because I think they want it to be Vyson Lang. I just don't think he's really, I don't want to say made the most of the opportunity, but he hasn't ran away with the job.
Right.
So I think that is kind of a red flag, and I think it opens it up to somebody else coming in there. Like I mentioned, they like this freshman class. I think next year you probably look at the transfer portal for. I think every year you're gonna look for the offensive line, but next year I think you're gonna look for probably a center, if I had to guess. Unless somebody just knocks it out of the park behind Cooper Mays this year, I would think that's the avenue they go to. And I think the biggest thing with this offensive line is, you kind of mentioned it. You don't really know who the backups are behind them. I think this group has to stay healthy for Tennessee to reach their goals of, that 10-2 range.
For sure. And if you see a guy go down on field goal or extra point, I should say, don't worry. They're probably fine. 99% chance they're fine.
Yeah. I also did mess up. You saying that brought it up. Jackson Lampley's also back. So he's another guy that can play that guard spot too.
Yeah. And with Jackson Lampley probably being in the mix, I don't know who that extra point go down guy is. I'm interested to see week 1 who find out who that is.
Dude, I mean,
their mom has to be just do they prep? Do you think Josh Heupel calls their mom on Friday and warns them?
He should. Or maybe just like tells the kid, be like, "Hey, tell your parents." Like,
no, I think that has to be. I think that phone call has to come from the head coach.
Okay.
I don't think the kid can do that. I think it has to be Josh Heupel.
But also, I think you spin it. You're like, "Hey, y'all want to be on, hear your name called on the intercom."
Yeah, they will applaud you.
You basically a standing O every time you walk off the field.
You just got to warn the grandmothers watching at home as well. Got to, keep their hearts fine and free. And I wonder what happened the first time first time we went down, it was probably like, get up. Second time, you're like, what is wrong with this guy? I mean, poor mom.
Yeah. Yeah. It took a while for now Tennessee fans obviously have caught on to it.
Free timeout.
They're not hurt. And I hope it is like clockwork. Every time we score, you're like, oh yeah, here it is.
It's just when we score fast.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope that every time they fall down, they kind of bought it on the joke and dropped the SpongeBob. My leg.
It is going to be like they are really going to be hurt, and everybody's just so nonchalant about it.
Yeah. I want to know what the conversations are like, because sometimes those conversations on the field last a minute before they get them up.
Mm-hmm. I think we should do something throughout the stadium every time that happens.
Like a chant going.
Yeah, getting the crowd involved.
It's a nice break for us though too.
Yeah, my mind kind of goes to the stroke with Amick, but something like that I feel like should go through the stadium when that happens.
Just do the wave until they get up.
Yeah.
I'm not against that. I'm not against the little crowd reaction. Sometimes though we need that break, so it may not happen every time. Sometimes we need the breather. That's a good concession stand moment.
Or we do slow clap all the way to fast clap until they're officially off to the sideline.
Yeah, sometimes you got to start real slow. If it doesn't go to TV timeout, you got to know they're going to be out there for a while. So it's got to start
Yeah.
That was too. See, I think that was too fast. It's got to be more like. I think that's your first beat. Because if it's not a TV timeout, they're going to be out there for a while. They're not getting up for a minute.
Yeah.
We need to start clocking it. Like how the base coaches clock them.
Yeah, we also need to do something the TV timeouts are a good they're long enough where you can get a bathroom break in, but now everybody goes during that time, so it's hard to get
Everybody's
to the bathroom.
To figure it out.
Yeah, so I'm thinking we need to do it in waves, the person.
If you're wearing orange, you can get up at this TV timeout. If you're wearing white, you can get up at the next TV timeout.
I was thinking if you're sitting in an odd number, you can go during this time. Even number goes next.
I like that.
Yeah.
No one knows what seat they're sitting in Neyland Stadium. It's mayhem.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it doesn't happen much anymore because we know the people around us, but those first couple years when you would walk down there, there'd be people just sitting in your seat and be like, dude,
get up.
Yeah. It doesn't happen very often because my dad gets there usually when they open the gates.
Yeah, so. I was going to say, how does that ever happen to you?
It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, that's Oh, can't wait to be back in the stadium. Tickets have hit the account. I don't even know when they did. I just happened to be on the account during all that Morgan Wallen mess. They're in, ready to be scanned. Gonna have to figure out which gate to go in because I'm sure construction's messed all that up.
Oh yeah, you can't park anywhere.
Right.
Can't get out. Yeah, I might just park at our tailgate spot and just walk somewhere.
You talking about for the game? I would imagine you park at our tailgate spot.
Oh, I'm talking about the Morgan Wallen concert.
Oh,
that's where you're going.
No.
Oh.
I'm talking about the construction's gonna mess up the gates all year, like they did last year. You figure the easiest way in and out.
I feel like I never go the fastest way. I just go the way I know.
Oh, see, I feel like I'm always trying to figure it out. Yeah. I figured out now with construction, the easiest way is going in gate 22, I think. That line can be long sometimes, but just get in the stadium and then you can get around.
Yeah.
It's really close to your seat, so good for you.
Yeah, I'll just follow you then.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm going to be honest, Landon, I don't know what this next topic is.
Oh, are we done with offensive line?
I am. I don't have anything else for offensive line. I think we hit it all.
Yeah, just a solid group. But I think besides defensive line, and this is crazy, I think it might be your best group.
Yeah, I would probably think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the trenches, baby. Got to be strong in the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Feels good. I mean, we're getting to where we're competing like an SEC team. I'm glad we finally figured it out. It only took, almost, 15 years to figure out, like, this is how we recruit.
Starts here. The play starts here. We might as well start recruiting here.
They're like, oh, the trenches.
Those trenches.
That's what we do. Got it.
They thought the trenches were like actual trenches, and you're like, you don't want big guys in the trenches. They can't fit in the trenches. Their head would be above the trenches. They're vulnerable down there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a metaphor.
Yeah, you want guys to be able to maneuver in there and also like be a team guy.
Sure.
If somebody runs out of bullets, you want to have somebody that, hey, here's a couple.
Sure.
So, yeah, love the offensive line. Love Cooper Mays. Let's stay healthy and let's win a lot of ball games. It'd be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I do know what this next topic's about. I'm an idiot. I just read it and was like, that's not how you spell gas, but now I'm with it.
Okay.
It took me a minute.
Okay.
It took me way longer than I'm proud of. It looks right. It kind of looks right.
I love it. I mean, a linebacker with the last name Gas.
Sure. Got a lot of it, baby.
Got a little bit. Yep. Christian Gas. Tennessee lands 4-star linebacker from Covington, Georgia. Beats out the home state Bulldogs for the commitment of Christian Gas, and is ranked On3 has him the number 85 player in the country, number 6 linebacker, and number 14th player in the state of Georgia. 6'2.5", 220. Bigger linebacker, like about 6'3", 220. That's a pretty decent sized linebacker,
especially
to be going
coming out of high school.
Yeah, well, I mean, he hasn't even played a senior of high school yet. That's the crazy part. But
right.
Kid looks the part, and I think you definitely wanted to kind of see how, with the new coach at that linebacker position, how they recruit this year, and I think they've done a pretty good job. There
seems to be doing okay. Yeah, seems to be better, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's what you wanted.
The program direction helps a lot right now, but
for sure. Yeah, you go and land Jaden Perlotti, to go with Christian Gas, and then you obviously have Edwin Spillman. You have 2 young guys this year, and Arian Carter and Jeremiah T. Lander. I think it's going to be a pretty good group for the future at linebacker for Tennessee, and
Absolutely.
that hasn't been the case for a while. So excited for that and just the way they are recruiting. It's like, I mean, we don't have to just get Georgia's leftovers. Let's go beat them in recruiting.
Yeah, I think that's where, I mean, you got to, we talked about it kind of being in the mix for some of these battles. Winning some of these battles is where you got to be right now and then start winning more of them. And obviously, Tennessee's got to start winning more football games for that to really take place. But the fact that you're winning some of these battles right now is big. Now go win football games. Maybe you put yourself in a position to win more of them. We've talked about it recently, too. You got to recruit Georgia really well. And so that's another encouraging part of this one, this kid.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a ton of offers, Florida, Kentucky. I mentioned Georgia, Auburn, so pretty much all those SEC schools. USC was another one kind of in the mix there. That you're going to have to win those recruiting battles. And it's not really easy going to get that Atlanta area and beating Georgia for guys like that. But, I do think the depth chart has to, it kind of opens up. I mean, honestly, by the time he gets on campus, it should be, he should get some run, and then his sophomore year, he has a chance to be the starter for 2 or 3 years.
Sure, and that's nice for right now. I hope that's not continually Tennessee's recruiting pitch though to get some of these guys, because that wouldn't be a good sign.
yeah, for sure.
You don't want freshmen competing year in year out for starting jobs, especially a linebacker in the SEC.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Jeremy Pruitt tried that recruiting pitch after Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
didn't work. Wasn't effective, as we now know. I don't know if it's effective for fourth grade volleyball down there, but it's not for SEC football.
Yeah, and when you're getting the number 6 linebacker in the country, I mean, you can come in and compete. If you go win the job, you go win the job. I mean, it's not like
no, sure. I just don't want that to be the selling point.
5-star. And, you're not getting the number 1 linebacker every single year, but getting the ones in state like Edwin Spillman and Arian Carter were big, and those are big recruiting wins. Mm-hmm. And then you go get one in the state of Georgia and possibly 2 in Jaden Perlotti, which would be massive for William Inge too. I mean, that says probably a lot about him. I don't know how much he is. I assume he's involved. I don't know if he's the lead star recruiter or anything like that, but I do think that is a good sign, landing 2 guys like Christian Gass and Jaden Perlotti in this class already.
Right. Anything else for that?
Now, I was looking at this. Tennessee hasn't had a linebacker drafted in 5 years.
That doesn't surprise me.
That's pretty bad.
Sure. Yeah. Especially with who you've had here. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, Henry Toto, I guess it doesn't count because he went to Alabama, of course.
Well, he's going to be on some coaches' social media
graphic. Yeah. That's true. All right.
Time to talk about go to baseball. Flip to baseball.
Yeah.
Tony Vitello was up in Cooperstown today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, seeing Todd Helton get inducted into Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. And, he mentioned it. Did you get a chance to listen to his speech at all?
I haven't gotten to listen to it yet. I've seen tweets about it and comments about it, but I've not gotten to listen to the full thing yet.
It's really good because Todd Helton, as he mentions, this is the last thing he wants to do is get up there and talk about himself. But he did a good job, thanking everybody. And I thought he really did a really good job with his speech, gave shout outs. It was witty at times. He talked about being a Tennessee quarterback and how he talked about David Cutcliffe and talked about being sandwiched in between Heath Schuler and Peyton Manning, and that's why he probably made the right decision to go to baseball. And it was just really good and really thoughtful overall, and just a great job for him. I actually got to sit beside him at a game this year and talking to him. Obviously, like, dude hates crowds, does not, is very under the radar guy. I think a lot of people want to come up and talk to him, but he's just not like a huge personality to kind of welcome that. But we got to talk a little of baseball and about the team and stuff here and there. And the guy just loves ball. I don't the whole like stuff with the media, and that's not his forte at all. Kind of the show me thing. Dude just loves baseball. And he kind of goes into that a little bit in his speech, but it is really good. And, I think it is big for Tennessee to win the national championship the same year where they get their, a player inducted into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. Program on the rise.
Yeah, which is like pretty cool that it's kind of happened. So obviously, Helton graduated, left UT many, many years ago. Had a long career for the first Rockies player, right?
Yes, I think so.
That's crazy, it seems like. I guess they're not a super old organization, so not super, but still pretty wild. Pretty cool to see it happen at the same time Tennessee won their first national championship that this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously all coincidence, but hey, still cool.
Yeah. Just a great honor for him. And, he does have his number retired at Tennessee, but, he truly is like the best player by far to come through Tennessee and until probably recently, I guess. It's Major League Baseball. There's no debate. He is the best. Now you can say like, oh, Christian Moore did this and some other guys did that, but the guy was the best hitter in the SEC and also the best pitcher. He closed a ton of games, could throw 7 innings and take one day off, hit a couple home runs, and then the next day would throw a couple more innings and close out a series. So dude's a freak, and then he went on and had basically the same career at the Rockies that he had at Tennessee. He was just dominant, really good, and was a mainstay for the Rockies at first base. There wasn't a lot of talent that he had to work with, but the dude was dominant and also a Knoxville guy. Makes it just
there's some of his old Central teammates wearing their jerseys up there, which is cool. That's it was a cool day. Have you ever been to the Rock? You've been outside the Rocky Stadium, haven't you?
I've been outside. Yeah, I don't think they were playing that weekend. I was there.
Strangely enough, I think that's the only MLB park I've watched a game at.
Really?
Which is weird.
I've only been to 2.
I think so.
I think. Yeah, I've only been to Tampa and the Braves, the old Braves, not even the new Braves stadium.
Yeah. Don't think I've been to even Turner. I don't think I did ever go to Turner. I feel like I've been to another one, but not for a baseball game, for something else. Where'd I go? I don't remember. Not important. Who cares?
Yeah. I'm wondering if with the new stadium, they do something else for Todd Helton. I don't know what you do. Like, do you have a box?
I feel like you have to do something for an MLB Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Agreed.
But I guess you don't have those rules in place. So I don't know. Obviously, his number's already retired on the outfield wall.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like there's got to be something else for a guy of that prestige.
Yeah.
Also, I think Chris Burt, was it this weekend, went to the college Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Another award. Another Vol just racking up awards.
Yeah, and I love like all these Tennessee guys like support their orange.
Yeah.
Like Todd Helton had a tee.
Yep.
He could have had a Rockies one, but he had a tee like that.
He did have some purple on.
Yeah, he did. But he could have had a Rockies
lapel pin, yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool to see the power tee.
Yeah. So
I'm not saying he wouldn't, but I do wonder if if he would, if Tennessee hadn't had the success they have had lately. So I think that probably does have at least a little bit to do with Vitello. I mean, obviously he coached here for 2 years, I think. He was on Serrano's staff.
Yeah, a couple years, help with some hitters. I don't know exactly what
he did, but
yeah,
was around the program, I guess.
Yeah.
Is probably the right way to say it.
You can't hurt a guy like that being around your program for sure. And I have seen him a couple times at baseball games, but when I was talking to him, I definitely understood why he does not enjoy coming and sitting with everybody. Dude hates crowds. He's also a large human being. He does not fit well in those seats.
He's big.
So I think a box will probably have his name on it where he can go in and leave as he pleases.
There you go. That's the solution for him.
Yeah.
Landon's pushing for it.
Yeah. Also, if he wants to invite me up there, cool with that too.
Especially like in the summer games when it's getting hot. When it's
like
be a lot of June baseball played.
Hey man,
May and June. Yeah.
I'll give you the rundown on every player like I did when we sat next to
There you
go.
So sounds like a deal to me. Why wouldn't you take it?
I'll be your guy on the chair.
Do we have any questions?
I don't think we have. I'll check and make sure. We did have one in the chat here, so I can get to that one. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if we have any real quick. No questions. Okay. So Tristan Sipes said, going back to football a second, G-Mac, that's George McIntyre, and Ethan Utley both have posted about a surprise commitment coming. I feel like it's Josh Petty, but I could be wrong. Thoughts?
Good question.
I don't think it's Josh Petty.
Okay.
If I had to guess, it's probably Deshaun Brame.
Okay.
It could be Dwayne Morris. He is or Dwan Morris, however you say that. He is currently a USC commit running back. That is a player at Oakland High School in Tennessee. So, really good player. Comes from a really good program there at Oakland. And I just think that kind of late to the party in that one. But circling back, and I think he's supposed to be here next weekend. So, I think it's probably one of those two. Deshaun Brame, it seemed like it was all Tennessee, and then Oregon last second got that commitment. But I'm wondering if it'd be pretty cool if there was some regret in that decision too. He came to Tennessee. I don't know. I just feel like it's one of those two. I don't think it's Josh Petty. That would surprise me. Which I guess they were saying surprise. So, I guess
they're onto something now.
Yeah, it could be. He was. He grew up a Tennessee fan, but I think Florida State's kind of been in the driver's seat for a while there. It seems so.
Fair.
Yeah. So Deshaun Brame, Dwan Morris. I think one of those two is probably. I lean toward Deshaun Brame. I think.
I like it.
Yeah. Because I don't think the Dwan Morris is much of a surprise, because being a Tennessee kid committed to USC, I just think
don't see it.
Yeah, it's a little easier to break that line, I think.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, also says, how are we feeling about David Sanders Jr.? I guess as good as you could. Yeah. Let's go land him. Why not?
I feel like the staff's recruiting this summer surprised me. They're with the early getting these guys. I guess the timeline is what the timeline is. It's not so much about Tennessee, but it still felt like when they've been able to get these guys, it's been later in the process.
Mm-hmm.
So they've surprised me at least a little bit. So maybe they continue to.
Yeah. That would be a huge get. And I think it helps having George McIntyre. They're obviously know each other very well. There's also, I think, going back to that, and this is probably him everywhere, but I mean, he comes on campus. I mean, freshman year we'll see, but definitely sophomore year on, he's a starter.
Right.
So I think that would be a huge win for Tennessee, and it looks like it's between Tennessee and Ohio State. You know, I know he talked about taking some visits. If he does do that, I guess it could open it up to more teams, or maybe Georgia and Nebraska were also in his top 4, kind of make a push there. But I just think he's been here a million times. He's definitely comfortable here, and it would be a lot. He's from the Charlotte area, so definitely closer here than it is to Ohio State. But
yeah,
and I think having that Darnell Wright, which Ohio State's had really good players too, but just having Darnell Wright kind of in your back pocket,
it's a
being a top 10 pick and going in the league and starting every game, I think that does nothing but help you when you're recruiting tackles like that.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I mean, Darnell Wright, man, big surprise, very much underwhelming. So for this staff to get, in my opinion, the most credit for how his career ended up being at Tennessee and then where he's at now, that's huge.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's some like recruiting of like the offense and be like, oh man, like you're going to have to run every single. Darnell Wright was like 320 or 310. Like, I don't think like that's if you're a D1 athlete, I don't think that really matters very much. But I'm sure that gets said. It's like, dude, you got to run a lot all the time.
Yeah, it's not that theory has been, I feel, put to rest.
Yeah. Also, you're going to go and play 17 games in the National Football League in every season as soon as you graduate college. So you better be okay with running and conditioning for sure.
Yeah.
Right. I think it helps stamina. I'm gonna spin it as a positive.
Don't know how it can't.
Yeah. You're not getting tired in the fourth quarter, game 17. On the road in the snow? No.
All right. Most important of the week?
Most important.
I've got 2.
Okay, you go ahead.
I'm not a big arena football league guy. I've always thought it's kind of lame, kind of dumb, never gotten the point of it. Doesn't look all that fun and interesting to me. But did you see where they played the Arena Bowl, which I guess is the championship, the Super Bowl this year? Did you see this?
No, I didn't.
They played it in a mall in New Jersey.
Oh, I did
it
see
looked
that.
Very cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
And a lot of people, I guess, big arena football fans were very upset about it because of the crowd and stuff. But I thought it was a great idea. I mean, we walk through, we see cars, we see random people jumping on trampolines in malls all the time. I might watch an arena league football game if I was shopping at the mall.
Yeah. I mean, screw the trampoline stuff. Well, let's go watch some football.
Yeah, I think I think that's the move. I think every arena league should now have to be in a mall.
Yeah, also like the top level of it, like watching down and then playing football below, I think that's sick.
Yes, agreed. Balconies look cool no matter what they're doing, where they're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, big on. Love that one.
Do we know who won that?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd buy a ticket to an arena league football game in a mall. I would just go if I was shopping. Get some Petros in the food court.
Do you think they
pop in?
You think people bought tickets? Like it's a mall. It's free.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know how that works, man. Good question. That's a great question. I think there should be some like VIP seating. Sure. Like there should be an Auntie Anne's booth that only so many people can access.
Okay. Yeah, like a closed off, like best seat in the house kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe you get like you sit on those massage chairs while you're watching the game. or benches. I think it's standing room only. There are benches that you have to pay a little bit of money for.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
My most important is my wife. Happy birthday to my wife.
Happy birthday, Raven.
She's awesome. She let me record today, so she's let me play college football the past couple nights. So
Did you play today?
I've not played today. Today was
you gonna
about
play
her.
tonight?
We'll see. I would like to, but I don't know. It is hard to like stop playing. Start playing is easy. To stop it has been rough the last couple of days. But yeah, she's the best. And if you do know her, wish her happy birthday. Still got a little bit of time left. And yeah, I just want to mention that before I forgot, and I would have heard about it. So.
My next one. Do you know the name Hal Mum? Al Mum.
Al Mum?
Al or Hal? No, I'm blanking on it. I think it's Al. Sorry. Al Mum. Does that name sound familiar to you? Hal. It is Hal. I should have gone with my gut. God, idiot. Hal Mum. Does that name sound familiar?
It does sound familiar. I don't know why.
He is, I don't know. I guess if we're going to call Mike Leach, which I think would be fair, the father of the air raid, I think he may be the grandfather of the air raid. He was the person who first hired Mike Leach at Iowa Wesleyan, I believe.
And
then brought him to Kentucky when he got the head coaching job.
Okay, so that's where I know it from.
Yep.
Gotcha.
He is, I haven't read why yet, and I should have read the why, but he is coaching. I read this last week and meant to mention it. He's coaching at Sullivan East up in Johnson City, which also is where Dane Davis went to high school this football season.
Is this his first year?
I don't think he's the head coach. I think he's just kind of in an assistant type role.
Todd Helton with the baseball team.
Yeah,
he does something.
Yeah, don't think there is an official title for
it's
him.
Like, how come whenever you want, leave whenever you want, just be here.
Yeah.
I like that. I think there should be more roles like that. I wish we had a name for those kind of roles.
Yeah. He's an offensive analyst, which I didn't know high school football coaches had.
I like that too.
Yeah. So again, don't know the exact why. I was going to see if I could scan this. He was coaching the XFL for a while. Looks like Sullivan East is an air raid offense. So I guess he was like, yeah, I love that. I'll be in Johnson City ASAP. I'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah. Piney Flats. Look out. If it's not a bird, it's a plane. It's Hal Mum's offense.
Not a bad place to retire in Johnson City.
No. Apparently he's only going to be there for 1 year, and he's going to be the general manager of the new International Football Alliance franchise. That is the most insane name I've ever read in my entire life.
Say it again.
The new International Football Alliance. Still an insane name. The IFA. Doesn't sound like a league.
IFA.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I was watching something today. It was on TV. The flag football championship.
The women's?
It was like.
It's going to be in the Olympics next, 2028. You know what else is an Olympic sport this year in France?
What?
Breakdancing.
Hell yeah. I can get behind that. Flag football, no. That it's like, oh man, he's making such a great play. I'm like, who? Like, these kids are like 15 years old. If they're that good at football, we should know about them a little bit.
Is it just 7-on-7? See, I think that's my problem. Is it's not just 7-on-7.
Yeah.
How have they made 7-on-7 so popular, but it's still not a thing? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah. And I'm just like, how do you even get in this league? Like, they're interviewing the coach. It was like, you were the NFL flag football coach of the year. And it's like, how does that even come about? How do you get in this league?
You play at a local park and rec in the beer league and eventually make your way to the NFL flag football league. It's a pretty easy path to see Landon.
It's like, what in the world is going on? It's kind of like the what's it called? Williamsport. The College World Series or not College World Series,
the Little League World
Series.
Yeah.
It's like you have to play like different rules throughout this league. Like you have to be kind of like not licensed, but it's almost kind of like that. You have to play in a certain league with certain rules, and then that's how you be able to make it to the Little League World Series. Like not just any team can make it to the Little League World Series. You have to play like these certain tournaments. And
are you speculating that is what it's like, or you're wondering if that's what it's like?
I'm wondering if that's what it's like. Because I just don't understand. Like they're pretty decent athletes. There was a team in Tennessee from Nolensville, but it's like, how do these kids play in this? How does it happen?
Right. Yeah.
So many questions.
It's a good question.
Like, is there a 7-on-7? Like, I guess there is kind of like a AAU kind of market.
I don't know. I think 7-on-7 is dumb, so I guess I shouldn't say that. So, it's not dumb. It's dumb that it's as popular as it is. It's very fun. I was telling someone, because their son was playing 7-on-7, I was like, remind them this is probably the most fun they'll have playing high school football.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like
it is a ton of fun.
These kids had like their ears pierced and they had like a Band-Aid on it.
Oh, okay.
I'm just like, I mean,
nice.
we're that serious about this whole thing? We can wear pacifier mouthpieces, but tape them ears up.
Gotta play it safe.
I just didn't understand it. So
was that a fail?
Yeah, it was kind of a fail. I guess it's my lack of knowledge of what it actually was, but the fact that it was on ESPN kind of upset me a little bit.
Are you going to be upset that it's an Olympic sport?
Probably
okay.
Won't watch that. Actually, I might. No. What athletes are going to be in that?
I don't know. I no clue. Good question. It's a great question.
Are we doing like the best XFL players, like they get in that, or are we like having NFL players in it? I feel like that's not fair, right?
You're asking great questions. Yeah, but it shouldn't be about fairness. It should be about winning. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, but Tyreek Hill, I mean, just imagine him on a 7-on-7.
I think it would be awesome.
I would watch that for sure.
See some Frenchman trying to run down Tyreek Hill play football.
Yeah. Some Irish guy.
Yeah. Okay, fails. This is. I read one off on the show on Thursday. I probably should have saved it, but sometimes you just get so angry that you got to do it. God, I wish Joey was in here because he could probably tell me who it was. There was some guy that just hit a bad shot in the open and quit. It was awesome.
Oh, who was that?
And apparently he did injure himself a few shots before that, but still it was legendary to see him hit a bad shot and just turn and be like, all right, I'm done. I'm leaving.
Yeah, didn't it go like back in the – he shot it out of the bunker and it rolled back in? Is that what it was?
I don't think so. It may have been – maybe it happened to someone else.
Something like that too. Yeah, he was like, yeah, I'm just not feeling it. My back hurts. He's like, I'm out.
I'm out. Let me go to the bar. We'll see you guys later.
You got to finish the hole, man.
Right.
I have Paul Feinbaum. He says Alabama doesn't really have an automatic backup. They have good players. Todd Simpson is fantastic, but we don't know that much about him. But Texas has the most famous backup in the sport, Arch Manning. So if something goes haywire with Quinn Ewers, Texas has a plan. It won't be the end of the world. It will be at Alabama.
Okay. How do we know Todd Simpson's fantastic if we don't know much about him?
Arch Manning, you mean?
No, he said Todd Simpson's fantastic, but we don't know much about him. That's what you said.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
How do we know he's fantastic if we don't know much about him?
And it's the same thing with Arch Manning. We don't know
anything about him. We know as much about Arch Manning as we do Todd Simpson.
Yeah, both fantastic.
But one we know and one we don't. So, yeah.
But he was saying, like, Texas has a plan. I mean,
sure, I guess.
I mean, I think Alabama has a plan, too. If Jalen Milroe gets hurt, guess who their backup is? Todd Simpson. I don't know. I'm I'm not a huge Ty Simpson fan, but I just thought this was the dumbest thing that he compared the two and just made Arch Manning so much better than Ty Simpson, and said that we just don't know about Ty Simpson.
Yeah,
but he acted like he knew it. He knew what Arch Manning was going to give Texas.
I don't disagree with Lane Kiffin about Paul Fonbaum. I'll say it.
Yeah. Dude sucks. Oh, I did have another most important. I am sorry. Christian Moore officially signed his deal with the Los Angeles Angels, worth a little less than it was $4.99 million. Almost
love it.
Million.
Love it.
Paid.
Bill before that truck route. I'm happy for him. I was getting worried about that.
I don't know if this is true or not, but maybe it is.
Okay.
It is no, I guess not. It's not true. And I think it's the second multi-millionaire we've had on the show.
Who's the first?
Dolander would be first.
Okay, probably. I don't know for sure, but probably.
Yeah.
I think you're right. We'll go with you're right.
Yeah. And Billy could be second, depending on what his is. So
absolutely.
Or it could be third, sorry.
Everybody, have you heard? I love the word delayed. If you're in the game, then I stroke the word. Don't take us now.
Got thirst for killing.
Bring your violence. Stroke me, stroke me.
Dun, 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 dun.
Stroke me, stroke me. All right.
All right, yeah.
A heater to end on.
Great heater. What about Sark saying that the Red River Shootout is the most unique rivalry?
Yeah, it's super unique. You're right. Is it that you never play it at home? Oh, wait, Georgia and Florida already do that. Forgot about that one. Is he probably the most unique because it's the only one that's...
Yeah, I was like, is there any other rivalry in the Big 12? I mean, there's Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, but Texas isn't part of that. So,
yeah, I don't care about the Red River Shootout. Sorry.
And didn't they?
Yeah, I can't say shootout anymore.
Didn't they lose it?
They did lose it last year, didn't they?
I think they did.
I don't remember because I don't care about Texas. Unfortunately for Sarkisian, just don't.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
That's it for me, folks. We'll see you guys back here on Thursday. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Thank y'all for tuning in always.
Yep. Like Caleb said, we'll be back Thursday in studio at Fox Sports Knox, Fan Run Radio. Guys, go check out our good friends at Roback, roback.com. Use promo code More Important Issues for 20% off your first purchase. Just the best quality of clothing over there. Love them. Go check them out. Again, promo code More Important Issues, 20% off your first purchase. That's all we got. We'll be back. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.